Welcome to the NAMFS June webinar. We are glad you have joined us. Today our topic is Drive Tracker, a new route optimization app. This webinar will be recorded and made available on the NAMFS website for members to download. If you have questions during the presentation, please type them in the box on your screen and we will answer them accordingly. Today we are pleased to have our guest speakers, Kyle Nichols and Craig Hoff. Craig Hoff has been working in software development for over 20 years. Craig's background includes database administration, web application development, and project and team management. Craig enjoys working in multicultural contexts and spent 8 years in China managing an international team of web application developers. Craig is currently the Chief Technical Officer at Earth Visions, and in that role, he has been instrumental in architecture, project management, and development efforts for Earth Vision's World Engine geospatial data management system, as well as in managing projects for Level 3 communications and the PGA Tour. Craig is currently managing development of the Drive Tracker route optimization application. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to you, Kyle.
Hi, my name is Kyle. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at Drive Tracker. You guys also might know me as the CEO and owner of NY Field Services. My background is I had 15 years of experience as a realtor, and I'm currently in my 8th year as an inspector for the mortgage field servicing industry. I'm here today to introduce you to Drive Tracker, the first map optimizer specifically designed for the mortgage field servicing. As most of you probably know, Microsoft has stopped selling streets of trips. You can only get it like on eBay and stuff like that now. What you might not know, as of July 15th, they will also stop supporting it. This means no more updating maps. If you have a problem with the program, there's no tech support, anything like that. What we did with Drive Tracker, we not only tried to replace the trips, we were actively trying to make it better so that it will definitely be geared towards our industry. With that said, I'm going to turn this over to Craig now, and he's going to walk us through the different features of Drive Tracker and what it's offering our industry. Go ahead, Craig.
Okay, thanks, Kyle. As Kyle just said, want to give you an opportunity today to take a look at Drive Tracker, this route optimization application that we are proud to be launching on June the 12th, and it's currently in beta test mode, and anybody who wants to can sign up and start using it today. As Kyle said, we really feel like Drive Tracker is quite a bit better than Microsoft Streets and Trips, and particularly for the mortgaging field servicing industry, which is where we've really been focusing our efforts. So I'm going to go ahead and log in and show you a few of the things that the Drive Tracker application can do. We're going to start by creating a route. So in Drive Tracker, you can create multiple routes. So if you have some kind of need to go visit a property and do some work, we can help you find the most efficient way to go to the various stops and organize your day and all those sorts of things. So I'm going to start and say this is my route for today, June the 4th. Add the route. And once we get there, we're going to find that there's a variety of different ways that we can load and manipulate data in order to be able to manage our routes. So first, in this particular scenario, I'm going to take 2 different client spreadsheets. Of course, this is just sample data. It's been changed, so it's not real, but just wanted you to see here's an example of some potential addresses that we might visit for one client and ones we might visit for another client. What we want to be able to do, load it into the system, be able to distinguish between the stops that are the one versus the other, be able to set stopover times so we know exactly how long our day is going to take, and then do all the other things we need to manage the route. So I'm going to start by setting a location color. So we'll set blue for the first one, and we'll say that for all of the stops for the first client are going to take about 10 minutes.
Craig?
Yeah, go ahead, Kyle.
Drop that down. Drop that down to like 4 or 5. It never, or for at least for the inspections industry, we never spend that much time at a property. So make it more realistic.
Sure, no problem, Kyle. So we're going to go and upload. We support a variety of different file formats, including CSVs and Microsoft Excel. So lots of different ways to being able to load in your data. And we'll look in a little bit at some of the other ways that you can load data in. So we're going to go back and grab the data that we prepared. Let's see if I've got that there. And we're going to go ahead and we can see that it's already mapping the fields, address, city, state, zip, and so forth. If there's data in our spreadsheet that we want to omit, let's say in this case we don't really want to see the work order number, we're just going to skip that column, and maybe other things like client type or due date we want to go ahead and include, we'll leave those as other data. So once we've got things configured the way we want, we're going to click on Submit, and it's going to go ahead and start processing. One question I get asked sometimes is, why is it that it takes a little bit longer than Streets and Trips does to load the data in? And there's a good reason for that. It actually is because there's it's because that we're dealing with live data sets. This is going to look right now in real time at where the addresses are and being able to give us an optimal route based on current information. So with Streets and Trips, you're downloading a map and you're downloading a set of addresses that may have been put together a year or multiple years ago. But with this, you're going to get much more accurate data. Anyway, once we've gotten all of those addresses into the system, we can see that there were a few that it had a few little questions about. And we'll see that on the map, the ones that are good are showing up here in blue. This was our selected color. And the ones that it's having a little trouble with, it's in red. So we'll just click on this address and we'll see, okay, the problem with the address is just a space. And if we want to have even a little bit more comfort that we're looking at the right address for this place, I can go into satellite mode. This application makes use of Google Maps, so we have really good high-quality satellite imagery that we can look at. And in fact, if we want to have even a little bit more comfort level that we're going to the right place, we can turn on Google Street View, and we can see exactly what the property is going to look like.
Now guys, let's say you're out in the field, and everybody's had this happen to them, where I'm out in the field and by God, I just can't find that house. I've driven up and down the block 4 or 5 times. If you've got your husband, your wife, your boss, whatever, and they're sitting inside an office someplace and have access to the website, you can just have them pull this up, and they can tell you, well, you hang a right off of Main Street onto Central Avenue, and it's the 3rd house on the left-hand side. We've been doing this for months now with my crew, and it's helped out quite a bit. Also know that it's not here yet, but we are working on a phone app version that you'll be able to do the exact same thing on your phone while you're in the field. If you've got internet access or everything, you can also do this on a tablet or a laptop in the field.
Okay, thanks, Kyle. So I'm going to go ahead now that I've confirmed that this is the address that I want and click on it, and that will turn it blue, and we'll just take care of the other 2. This one here, it had a little bit more trouble with, and so we can use a few more tools to help us find where it is. We can just type in the address. We'll start typing, and we're going to find out that the problem that it had was just a spacing problem. And let's find Holbrook, Spring Meadow Drive, Holbrook, New York, and we type until it fills it in, and we'll add that one in and get rid of that one, and we're all set with those. So I'm going to upload one more set of data points for our other client. Let's change this color to green. We'll change the stopover time, let's say, to 3 minutes, and we'll grab client 2 data, submit. And again, we can map these however we want. Maybe in this case, we want to omit the ID. We'll leave the other data in. We'll do a submit.
I want to point this out while we're waiting on, let me point this out as too. I've had my inspectors comparing the Streets and Trips program to the Drive Tracker, and using both programs to map out the routes. So far, we're at 100% that Drive Tracker has routed the stops tighter. In other words, we're spending less drive time through Drive Tracker than we are through Streets and Trips. It's not like a ton. The lowest one we've been at is like 21 minutes, and I think the highest one was like a minute or like an hour and 10 minutes or something like that. But, you know, being in the field, I know that's the difference to being able to do somewhere between 3 or 5 more jobs a day. If you're dealing with download, or you've got the Windows dates or whatever that you're dealing with in 1 week, being able to do an extra 15 or 20 jobs might be the difference between having a 95% on time and an 85% on time ratio. And again, we're at 100%. We've yet to find it where it didn't map it out where we were faster.
Okay, thanks, Kyle. Looks like we're about done with that. So I'm going to go ahead. We just had one bad address in this set. We'll prove that one. And I think that we're ready to go. So now we have all of these addresses on the map. Of course, there are a couple more things we want to do to make sure that we have an optimal route. One of the things we want to do is decide where do we want to start and where do we want to end. So let's say that we want to start at 15 Carroll Street. 2 hours, 1 hour, right, Kyle?
2 hours, 1 hour. Yeah, this is my ex-wife's house. Anybody want to go visit her, feel free.
I did that wrong again. One in Amityville. Well, thought I had it.
Carroll.
That's what I thought. Oh, there it is. I just didn't type enough letters, that's all. Okay, so now that we've picked that, we're going to make that our origin. So we're going to start our route from there. So we can see that's over here. And let's just say that we want this particular location is going to be our last one. So we could make that the destination. Another thing that we can do before we optimize is we can add in a variety of other types of information to customize this even a little further. So I'm going to demonstrate 2 different ways we can customize these locations. One of these is, in this particular case, we didn't find the exact location of this house. So we can click on position and we can drag and drop this to the location. I know that a lot of times, especially in rural areas, it can be hard for these types of systems to know exactly which house is the right one, and we can make sure that you get to the right place. Another thing we could do is add in some custom notes. So we have all of this information that we had put in before, and we can also put in things like saying, warning, we know that this is a location with a hostile homeowner. Okay. And so we get that all configured in exactly the way we want it to be. Okay, and now we'll go back. Come on. Okay.
Just change the URL back to Rout.
All right. My internet connection being a little bit flaky today. Okay, so we'll go back and edit that again. Great. So now that we have that all set up, we're going to go ahead and do an optimize. We'll click here on create directions and optimize order, and it's going to go find the fastest way to travel between all of these different locations. So that's all done. In the event that we know that it would be better for some reason to do things in a different order, we can also have an opportunity to manually tweak. Let's say that we decided that it would really be better to swap the order of 2 and 3. So I'm just going to go here and grab this and drag this up here and get my mouse to behave itself. Okay, and then we've got the order exactly the way we want. Once we have the order in place, we're going to click on View Directions, and it's going to generate turn-by-turn directions for us. So as Kyle said, we're working on the phone app version of this. You'll be able to take this with you, and as you are driving, if you have any problems, you can see exactly where to make the turns, how long it's going to take, all of those kinds of things you'd expect from a turn-by-turn application. And in addition to that, you'll be able to see the total trip time, including all of the stopover, and then we have a variety of ways to get the data out of the system. So we can include different types of information in print, in email, to be exported to a GPS device, and so forth.
Let me jump in here, run real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, Kyle.
Just to let you guys know, my crew has been using the stopovers. We've been kind of guesstimating about how long we spend between each stop. Of course, you know, if you've got a interior inspection or an exterior inspection, if you've got a door knocker, if you don't have a door knocker, that all affects the time that you're spending the property. So we're doing a good guesstimate. And I've been getting a lot of positive reviews that now they can tell a little bit better how much time they're going to be able to inspect. That way they don't under-route or over-route themselves. In other words, if they want to spend 7 hours in the field that day, they now know, once they put this information in, that they're going to approximately be out there for 7 hours. This way they also know if they're going to be out there if they've over-routed themselves and they've routed 12 hours with them inspections, they can go back and cut that down or add more, whichever way they need to go. It's been a really handy tool.
All right, thanks, Al. Just to finish up with the print, so we could be able to print an itinerary. In the itinerary, we could put in some of this custom information. So, for instance, if we wanted to see that warning about the hostile homeowner, we can have that be there. So any of the notes that somebody would want to have print out and see show up on the thing, oh, there it is, we can have show up. We can include, of course, the turn-by-turn directions if you want to see it. Oops. Or turn that off. We can include a map overview that shows the map of the entire route. We will also be adding very shortly a map strips feature of being able to see a map showing just a few stops at a time so that it's easier to see visually what this would look like. Once we're satisfied that we have what we want, we can click on print to print it, click on email to send it to someone, and we are all set with that. And as I mentioned, we also have the ability to export out a GPX file, which could be used with compatible Garmin devices and other GPS navigation aids.
That email feature has been coming in kind of handy with my newer inspectors. When we got somebody that's not quite ready to be able to map themselves, I'm able to do it in the office and just email it to them in the morning. We've got 2 or 3 of our inspectors that we're doing that with right now.
Mm-hmm. I also did want to point out that we've made some tutorial videos available for people, so we have very detailed information on how to do certain types of things in the application. If you have any problems, you can consult those, and also we've provided a support and feedback mechanism, and we really take this seriously. We've been using the feedback that we've been getting through the tool as we've been in beta actively to enhance the product and perfect it and really make it something that would be really helpful for the mortgaging field servicing industry. Okay.
With that said, we're really encouraging our clients to keep using that. We added the time for the stops. That was a suggestion from one of our beta testers. Being able to move the jobs after we put them in the list, that was a suggestion from one of the beta testers. We never want to consider this program finished. Okay, we're always going to be looking for upgrades to make it work better, and that way when the industry changes, which everybody knows one thing is constant about our industry, it's constantly changing. Our program can change with the industry. So whatever the nationals throw our way, we're going to be able to adjust this program to work with that.
Okay. There were just one or two more things that I wanted to point out that we missed when we did the original overview, and then I think we may be able to take some time for questions. So if you have some questions, you can be typing them in right now, and we'll take those in just a few minutes. We have, besides being able to upload spreadsheets, we have other ways we can load data in the system. I just wanted to show you at least one of those. We can paste, cut and paste. We already demonstrated just typing in an address. But another thing that we can do is to use a mouse click. Let's say that you know that you need to go to a location that's over here. I'm going to turn back on to satellite mode again. And we want to, maybe don't know exactly where it is or whatever. We can click right here and we can see what the possible locations are, that area. Click on the right one and that will add that to our route as well. Okay. Anything else, Kyle, that you can think of that we want to show before we do questions?
Not right now. Do we have any questions out there?
We do. What is the cost of the program?
We're going to live June 12th. Right now we're offering it for free. Okay, we're going to be going live June 12th. So anybody that signs up before then will get it free, and we're offering 2 weeks free after you sign up. So the first 2 weeks you're not paying. After that, it's $19.99 a month.
I know that one question I get a lot is, what makes this better than some of the free products that are out on the market? One of the things, certainly there are several things that make it better. One of them is the number of stops that you can add to a route. We've noticed that with a lot of the free programs, you can have 10 stops, maybe 25 stops in a route. A Drive Tracker allows you to have over 250 stops. So really, as many places as you could possibly go in a day, you can put into a route and optimize at one time. Also, we've done lots of customization for the industry that you wouldn't find in other types of systems.
Let me ask a question in reverse. Does anybody have any suggestions? Something that we showed them and they want to see added to the program? Okay. Liz, do we have any other questions? Liz, can you still hear me?
Can you guys hear me now? Okay.
There we go. Okay, I was nervous for a second.
Is this compatible with Garmin currently, correct?
Yes. Anything that Streets and Trips will work with, Drive Tracker will work with.
Another question is, if you are working in the field in a rural area and the location you're at, there's no internet, would you still be able to use this?
Craig?
Well, if you're going to go to a rural area, you would not be able to take it with you in that sense. That's why we've provided you with ways to take the data out with print, with the email, with the ability to put it onto a device. I would expect that offline capabilities will be the sort of thing we'll be working on in the near future as well.
And just
when we put out the phone app, it will definitely, you're going to be able to definitely use it in the field a lot easier once we get the phone app done.
Yeah.
The programming on that is just a lot more difficult because of the size of the screens that we're dealing with.
And then I have another question. Is it $19.99 a month, or is that for each user?
That's $19.99 a month per user. So this is designed for your subcontractors to pay for it. Now, you might be asking yourself, why is this more expensive, so much more expensive than Streets of Trips? It's because it's a web-based program. The cost of running the program is significantly more than what Streets of Trips was, because Streets of Trips, they load the map, they're done. We're talking about our maps are constantly being updated. Addresses are constantly being updated. If you've got a house that was built 6 months ago, Streets of Trips is probably not going to find that house. We will. Okay? And because it's a web-based program, that's what makes the routing so much tighter. I'll put it this way. If the cost of it, you're going to save that probably within your first week in the field because of how much tighter your route's going to be.
Yeah, and I think also to add to that is the fact that we're just so much faster, I think, in terms of adding features, fixing bugs, and so forth. If you were waiting for Microsoft to add some new feature to Streets and Trips, you'd probably be waiting a year or two, whereas we would add those things very quickly within a week or two.
Okay, we have another question. How would this interface with Easy Inspections or other inspection software?
Right now, today, it works pretty much the same way that Streets and Trips does. The difference is we can, it's almost dummy-proofed on our end because you can use almost any form of, Excel file. So you got the CVS file, and I'm sorry, I'm very computer illiterate, but Craig, there's other types of files that we can use besides the CVS, correct?
Right. Pretty much any type of spreadsheet file of whatever format we can use today, and we also provide the cut and paste tool. So if you have addresses in a Word document or something else, you can just grab them, paste them in, and it can take that out. So it can do that today, and then of course it can export out the data so that you could put it back into another system. So that's what we already have.
With that said, we did have a beta tester that made a suggestion, and I am personally in the process of trying to reach out to the third-party softwares and also to maybe some of the nationals, so where you're going to be able to just push a button and the data from that third-party software or the data from one of the nationals will go directly into Drive Tracker. The other option that we're hoping that it'll do is you'll push a button on Drive Tracker, and it's going to send those jobs back to either third-party software or the national in order, so that the job that you're working on will always be at the top of the field. That's going to be a lot of that's going to be up to how much cooperation we get from the third-party operators and the nationals. But I will say this, I have gotten some positive feedback, and I do believe that we are going to be able to do that. But that's probably a few weeks or more likely a few months away.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, guys, we don't have any more questions at this time.
Okay, let me leave it off like this. On the site, you have our contact information. DriveTracker@earthvisions.com is the web address. My personal email address is kyle.in@earthvisions.com. Please feel free to email me. Our phone number is 631-320-1916. That is our help desk, where the help desk is going to be open from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, but I will be transferring that number to my cell during the off hours. So I'm not going to guarantee you we're going to answer the phone during that time period, but it will be transferred to my cell. We're also going to be offering customized webinars for anybody that wants one. So let's say you want your whole crew to see this. Give us a call, shoot me an email, whatever. We'll set up a webinar just like this, just for your crew. I don't care if you got 5 people you want me to demonstrate the program to, or 500 people. We're more than happy to demonstrate it for your crews. Anything else you got, Craig?
No, I think that's it. We appreciate your taking the time to be with us today, and hope you'll take an opportunity to log in and try out the product, and let us know if you have any questions.
Thank you, Kyle and Craig. This concludes our webinar today. If you have any further questions, please feel free to contact us at any time. We thank you for joining us and hope you have a great day.